Recording? Hello. Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Neverending Train. This time I am not starting out all big and loud because I am in the middle of yet another migraine, so I have chosen a rather quieter session for today. That said, I suspect you're all going to get up to absolute chaos anyway, because such is passengers on the train. But for now, shall we have everyone starting at the top of the list and going down, if everyone could introduce themselves and their characters. Chili, you're first.
Oh boy. Hello, I'm Chili. I'm going to be playing Dixy.
Can you tell us a bit about them?
A very explosive dice man.
Wonderful. And next?
Hello, my name is Lizz, also known as Liz Blair, and I'm going to be playing Tammy Sharp. She is a little green creature who goes to university and studies fine arts.
And we love her. And last but not least?
Hello, I'm Whirlwind Wonderland, otherwise known as Whirl, and I'm going to be playing Luka Reish. He's a candy man. He makes candies, he's not made of candies, and he's doing his best.
And I definitely love him too. I will say, I can't say that I love Dixie yet because I have not encountered him very much. I will also give a heads up to everyone listening. This is Luka's second episode on the train. The first episode is the Midnight City Carriage, which I am still yet to edit. I am very sorry. It will appear at some point.
It's fine, take your time.
For now, I think, let's begin. I'm going to roll a d3 to just see who kind of turns up first in this new carriage. That's a 2, which means, Tammy, you are first to arrive. But before that happens, how have you been since we last saw you?
I've been imagining post the last carriage that she was in this game. She's been through quite a few more, and she's not doing very hot.
Oh dear.
She is committed to the shtick of asking every denizen of the train, like, what's going on, but her heart's not really in it. And I know the train sort of replenishes you every time you go through a door, on a carriage door, but she's starting to get grey spots around her face that's just been spreading every time she's just been going through this nightmare train.
Oh, yeah, because it may replenish you physically, it doesn't do so mentally. So yeah, I can see that taking its toll. Well, good news is, when you arrive in this next area, I don't know how reassuring you'd find this, but considering you're a uni student, you find yourself amongst some very tall bookshelves, with like wooden floors, wooden shelves, books absolutely scattered. You seem to be in some sort of library.
Oh. Yeah, it is reassuring. She is gonna look for like a information desk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would that just be a straight perception?
Yeah, perception's easiest.
Okay, what is your perception? And... okay, not a plus, it's a minus.
Oh, that's... so that's an unnatural one, because you're older too. There's just lots of books. I'm sorry, you are in, like, I'm not sure if... Oh, because, like, you're an art student, aren't you? Speaking as someone who also used to be a different type of art student, but it's also kind of like, you don't really go to the library looking for books, you go to the library to dissociate.
I think she's doing that, like, she's walking through the aisles and she's like tunishly melting, and just it gets to a point where she's just sliding on the floor because she's so tired.
Oh, amazing. And I think that's a great part to move on to whoever's up next, which happens to be Luka. How have you been since we last saw you?
I imagine that Luka has also probably been through a few carriages since his last one, and he's kind of run into an interesting little problem in that it appears the train does not, in fact, restore your inventory, and so he's recently run out of his, well, he calls it medicine. So he's not doing too hot himself right now. He's kinda in very much an internal struggle mode
Oh no.
because, spoilers, but he's doing his best. He's trying to hold it together. He's not doing very well, but he's trying.
Oh no. I feel so sad that I've just got 2 characters that are just like so tired of all of this now. Hopefully this is going to be at least a slightly more fun game, but also possibly not. Yeah, so Luka, you also walk through the door and find yourself amongst a bunch of bookshelves. Did you want to roll perception?
Yes, please. Is my perception.
Always a good
Lordy.
question.
You'd think I'd remember it by now. Actually, I've only ever played this character once, so I wouldn't, but...
That's okay. This is the whole point of having character sheets. That's an unnatural 20. Dirty 20, always fun. Alright, yeah, with that, you look around and you see yourself amongst a bunch of books. And well, you have a bit of a closer look, and they do seem to be mostly non-fiction. They in fact seem to be mostly like history and geography books from the looks of things, of varying countries, not just of Inkwell, but from everywhere. And you also look ahead and you can spot another toon that it seems to be very slightly melted ahead of you, gotten a bit has obviously gotten a little bit lost and has kind of melted. Do you want to do anything?
Oh, no. I will say that for flavor, when Luka noticed sort of the contents of the books, he did, he's not very, bright and lively right now. He's very desaturated and grayed out, but his colors did saturate a bit more, and he did smile a little bit when he saw history books because, history, he likes history. He wanted to study to be an anthropologist, but stuff got in the way. But when he notices a fellow tired out toon, he's like, oh, there's another person here. Okay. And he's a little nervous, but he kind of will walk over and sort of make his presence known and be like, excuse me, are you all right?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is there anything I could do to help?
No.
Oh.
Can I roll hammer space?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
yeah, you get what you wanted.
Luka thinks for a minute and reaches into his inner coat pocket, and he pulls out, I actually have one of these drawn. It was for an ask thing, so ignore the ask attached, but he pulls out one of these and he offers it to this tired looking friend and is like, I'm sorry you're feeling lousy. I do find that sweets help.
To our listeners, I would just like to say it's a little candy wrapped in pink paper with like a little sun on it, and it looks very, very cute.
Tasty.
It does look very yummy.
Yeah.
Tammy will sort of roll over from her face down position to be back, and then sit up and tiredly grab your hands at the candy and unwrap it on the floor.
It's just a little yellow candy that looks like it has some sort of goopy juice inside.
Oh, sick. Also, I see the little note that says it's Sunshine Splash.
Mm-hmm.
I think it really does perk her up because of who she is. Sunshine really helps Tammy. So she just rubs her eyes and says, thank you.
That's so cute. And I think it is at this point that the third member of the party is also going to step out of the door. So, Dixy, while this is your first actual episode that you have been in, you have been on the train for a little while now. How are you feeling? And also, did you want to roll me a d20 to see how much you've managed to figure out about the train?
Okay.
All right, that's a 10.
Okay, nice.
With that, you've probably been through a few carriages. It's not to say you will have learned absolutely everything, but you have managed to figure out that you have heard rumours from some of the denizens that this does seem to be a train. You're not sure how much you believe it because this doesn't seem like a train at all, but you have at least heard of the concept.
Well then, some sort of pocket dimension, I guess.
Possibly. How have you been going on your travels, and how many carriages do you reckon you've been through?
I would say about 3.
Okay, so still reasonably new.
Yeah. Probably hasn't slept through any of them, though.
Oh, good news is you don't technically need to sleep because as you step through one door into the next carriage, you feel completely rejuvenated. You don't need food, you don't need sleep, you don't need any health potions.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah, it's basically anything of those doors is the mechanical equivalent of a long rest, which is always wonderful for me. So as you step out of this next place, can I get a perception check from you as well, please?
Oh boy. Yes, a 0.
Well,
incredible.
Okay, I think with that 0, because I forgot that Dixy has a -2 to wisdom rolls.
Yes, of course.
Which is a delight. You somehow managed to do even worse than Tammy did, because you step through this door and as you go turn to kind of have a look around, you immediately walk into a bookshelf and some of the books fall off and whap you in the face. I like to say,
ow.
Yeah, Tammy and Luka especially, you will definitely have heard this.
Oh goodness.
Just a little look.
I guess Luka would look up at that and he would probably be very concerned and walk over and say, "Oh goodness, are you all right?"
No, it's fine. I'm just... Ow. I'm very clumsy sometimes. Don't worry about it.
I see.
Is Dixie on the floor? Can I offer them a hand up?
Probably, yes.
Okay, Luka will offer Dixie a hand up. What are Dixie's pronouns?
Him.
Okay, Luka will offer him a hand up.
Oh, I love Dixie's design. I had no idea what he looked like, but that is a cool coat and I want it.
That is a very cool coat.
Trench coats are good.
I love the dramatic collar.
Yeah, it's the fact that the lapels are wider than the shoulders. It's pretty cool.
Yep.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
You look like a villain.
You're not supposed to know that.
Question.
But that's what Tammy is saying.
Yeah, I also have to ask.
Oh. Not exactly.
Eyebrows raised.
Look, I wasn't expecting to find any people here.
Jazz hands. Ta-da!
What? How big is the library?
So far all you guys can actually see at the moment is this single row of shelving, because the shelves go up all the way to the ceiling and do actually have solid backs, so you can't quite see through into the next next row along. Also, again, you got a 0 for your perception check, so all you kind of know is there sure is some books. Luka, however, I will give you the extra information. It is up to you to act on this or maybe tell the others. You have kind of had a bit of a listen as you've been talking with these other people, and you can kind of hear how sound is echoing around. And while you have thankfully been quiet so far, you can tell that, like, from, like, the very slight echoes and reverb of this place, that it's pretty big. And as you look along, like, this single row of shelvings that the three of you in, at the very, very end of it, you do see, like, a lighter, more open area that seems to be a desk, but it's a bit too far away at the moment for you to see much more than that.
I think he would, relay that information to the others. Maybe not exactly all that, just like, seems like wherever we are, it's pretty big. Probably a library, and I think that's a help desk over there.
Just quickly turns into the direction and starts walking to the help desk.
Does everyone else follow?
I'm gonna follow. Probably a little woozy about hitting my head on the bookshelf, but I'm following.
Can I offer Dixie a candy as well?
Sure.
Sweets make everyone feel better. Okay. You tend to pull it out of pocket space. That works. Luka also offers you one of these little pink wrapped candy.
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna eat it.
I will note, both Dixie and Tammy, when you eat the candy, it's not like it physically makes your mood lighter, but it does make you feel like all warm and fuzzy inside.
Sweet.
It's made with joy mixed into the sugar.
Aww.
I love this. I love all three of you so far. Alright, I will say, yeah, you guys all walk towards the desk, and as you get a bit closer, I will give you this based on your passive perception, so you guys don't have to deal with, those terrible, terrible rolls. Yeah, you get a bit closer, and you start to notice some movement from behind the desk, and you guys actually see what seems to be some sort of, like, clockwork mechanical being with minimum 10 arms that seems to be shuffling cards here, there, and everywhere, constant working, picking up a book, like scanning under something, writing something down with another arm, moving cards here, there, writing other stuff down, just working behind this circular desk. And as you get, like, all the way right up next to it, you guys notice two things. One, you've stepped into this little open area now, which is, and you can kind of see more of the layout of the place. Where is that fucking image that I made? Yeah, you find the open area and you start seeing some of the other shelves of books that all seem to be radiating out of this middle circular desk that the librarian is behind. And when Discord feels like working and actually uploading this image, that would be wonderful, please. There we go.
I'm sorry, I have the giggles at religion.
Okay, I realized my typo after I had already saved it, and I didn't feel like going back and fixing it because it was time to do the game.
No, listen, it's beautiful.
It's perfect.
Religion.
Oh god, it's like the Eevee evolution we never needed.
I mean, considering what you said about this realm in another episode I'm highlighting, religion in this place is a bit weird.
I mean, it is. It really is. And the other, or going back to, what you guys are actually seeing, you arrive, as you pull up close to the desk, you noticed, plastered kind of on the bottom of the desk for you guys can easily see, a bunch of library rules. And when it feels like loading, I made this thing slightly too big, so it takes a second to upload. I can't spell. I'm sorry.
Hi, can I ask a question?
Yep.
You mentioned that there's a librarian who's probably doing stuff like stamping books. Is the person at the desk, the mechanical friend, are they doing it to the tune of Ain't Got Rhythm?
World's best question.
They should.
Well, I will say it is a library, so there is definitely no music playing, not even any background music, but you know what? You can mentally sub in whatever song you like.
No.
Okay. Okay, I like the little like. Okay, you guys have ever been in libraries and you see like these little printout things that obviously use way too much clip art, and they're definitely just made in Word, like probably a rather old and outdated version of Word. You see one of these little tackily printed out posters stuck on the desk, and it says, "No damaging books, no loud noises, no food/drink, no fighting, no pets, no fire, no." And those are the library rules. But yeah, you have now arrived at kind of like the center hub of this library, with 12 different sections of books like spanning out from the middle, and yep, this librarian in a circular desk at the front, in the middle.
She's just gonna pipe up. Should we even be here?
No, we shouldn't. And Tammy's gonna turn to the librarian and say, "Hey, where's the exit, please?"
Shh. A single hand kind of stops for a moment to go in front of where the librarian probably should have lips if it had a mouth, and yeah, just the shushing noise comes out.
Her face drops into a frown. She was whispering. She looks like extremely offended, but she's staying quiet.
I'm sorry, Tammy.
Does anybody else want to go? Because Tammy has another idea.
I mean, writing's not a noise. And Luka roll hammer space to pull out a notepad and pencil?
Yeah, sure thing.
That's
it's a
2. That barely makes it.
Takes a bit of rummaging.
He reaches into his coat, pulls out a light pink sketchbook with rainbow colored paper, very Lisa Frankish, and flips it open, realizes, oh wait, we'll need a pen. Reaches back into his coat, pulls out a pen, and then the pen looks like a lollipop, by the way, and he hands it to Tammy, and with like the quiet mention of, you might want to try this.
She like swallows some air and smiles because Luka's nice. Luka's been nice. This is not because she just got candy, and you just hear the of scribbling. And she writes a note, and then she just goes.
Love the Foley work.
And she slides it towards the librarian ever so gently across the table, and it says, "Hello, we are walking through this carriage, and we would like to know where the exit is, or if you need any assistance."
Okay, yeah, the librarian's arms do not stop for a second with the constant tasks that they are doing. But she does actually pick up an arm, like your note for a second, seems to read it over, puts it back down. Another arm goes delving into a pile of little note card sort of things, and pulls out 3 of them. One of them has information for a book called wait one sec, how do I fucking say this? Neverending, which has a big red stamp over the top of it which says missing. There's another book. There's actually 2 cards that are stapled together. One labeled The Craft of Battle and the other one labeled The Sovereign, and they've got a stamp on them saying incompatible. And the final card that is handed over, this is called the intricacies of acrophobia, and it says unshelvable on the stamp, and the librarian hands those cards over to you guys. I will write all that down again, just so that you guys can actually.
Please and thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I woke up like 20 minutes ago.
No, it's okay. Well, this is why I typed it down. Missing, Thank you for being patient while I write this all up, because I have to constantly check my notes.
You're fine.
If I make any typos, it's not my fault.
Oh shoot, I just realized something. I forgot to do a thing I was supposed to do.
Oh dear, is this a big important thing?
I mean, it's not super majorly important, but it is a thing that I will have to do if we're going to be doing anything that involves doing things in this game. Because Luka doesn't have his medicine anymore, and it's only been a short time since he doesn't have it, but he needs to make a Constitution save at the beginning of every game.
Oh, now would be a good time to make that then.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Which, oh god, you guys are gonna kill me.
Oh dear.
Eyes open.
Oh, that's a 4.
Welp.
This guy has a 3 in Constitution. Okay, so that's not a nat 1. So, like, he's not going to be slipping into sugar crash mode, thank goodness. That would be a mess, especially in a library. But, yeah, there is some pretty noticeable... There's stuff that's a lot more noticeable than I had originally planned for. Basically, he looks really tired. He looks like he's kind of swaying on his feet, leaning on his cane really hard. And also, there's, if you pay attention, sort of creeping out from under the sort of shadow cast by the brim of his hat that hides his eyes, there are sort of black to gray lines creeping down his face that kind of look like either veins or cracks.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
And also he's, barely above desaturated, so that's not good either.
Oh no. Yeah, I was gonna say, this is the first time that either of you other two have actually met Luka, so you guys have no way of necessarily knowing how bad things are, but also I am certain that just by looking at them, actually, if you two wanted to roll insight, maybe.
Sure, I'll try.
I rolled perception just to see if Tammy would notice.
Okay, yep. Okay, considering
that roll,
yeah,
would it be the better with insight? It would be just a 4, I think. Damn!
What are these rolls?
Oh, nice.
For listeners,
got that -1.
Yeah, for listeners, we got a 1 on Tammy's perception and a -1 on Dixie's insight. Oh jeez.
I don't notice a thing.
No, I don't think either of you even have. You don't have luck or like anything you can go adding to those, do you?
No, I don't think there's anything that could assist in this situation.
There's nothing that.
Just double checking. Can saucy points to anything? No.
If you want them to notice, Kai, I could argue that they might have advantage because, again, it is very visibly obvious this guy is grayed out in a way toons are not supposed to be.
That is fair. On the other hand, do consider there are a lot of black and white rubber hose.
Yeah, true. I was more referring to the fact that, like, he's not completely gray. He's not completely grayscale. There's, like, hints of color that look kind of dusty and faded and sick.
Alright, I will say that at this point in time, the others do not notice because those truly were some atrocious rolls.
Yes,
however, I will say that maybe as they kind of get to know you a bit more, they can have like another chance at doing insight if they're realizing that, hey, you're not moving very well, and like you said, you're leaning on your cane a fair bit. Like those signs can add up.
Yeah.
For now, though, the librarian has slid you those little book cards. Did you want to, have a look at them and try and figure out what they're about?
Yeah,
Sure.
definitely.
What would that be? Just to try and piece together where these books would be in relation to the layout of the library.
Yeah, give me up to you. I'm gonna just say you can either make an investigation roll or a perception roll specifically for looking at the cards, and I can give you different information depending on what you roll and all of that.
Okay.
By the way, this whole time Dixie has just been spacing out, kind of looking around, but just it sort of doesn't seem like he's paying attention to anything.
Oh no.
He's got the
Fun.
theme playing in his head on loop.
The Wii music.
Oh god. God. Alright, so we had Tammy rolling an 8 for investigation. Well,
oh wait, were we all supposed to roll that?
Yeah, all of you, if you want to have a look. It's your choice between investigation and perception to look at the cards. All right, Tammy, with that
I'll take
8,
that investigation.
I will give you a single fact about one of them, and that is, you remember that acrophobia is fear of heights. That's all you know.
Nice.
Okay, let's try investigation. 15.
All right. Luka, what was that 13? Was that perception or investigation?
That was perception.
Okay. In that case, we'll go with that 13 first, and then I'll get back to you in a sec, Dixie. With a 13, you kind of use your perception, and I will say, again, no, from that ridiculously high perception roll you got before, you also kind of notice, you look around and you do see the signs pointing out each different row of shelves, and you can kind of go like Craft of Battle and the Sovereign. That seems like it is probably it's maybe history. There's something about it that you kind of go, this is feeling like that probably came down the corridor, that you were there before. You heard some little noises and everything as you were walking down that before to get to the center. Maybe that's got something to do with that. And finally, that 15 for investigation that Dixie got, which nice roll considering you rolled a 9.
Yep.
With that investigation, can I actually get a real quick history roll from you as well? Because I think that's actually the closest I can get for what I want to give you here.
Okay.
I will give you information either way. Just that's 6. Okay, yeah. Okay, you do not know that other bit of information that I could have given you. However, from this investigation, you do manage to figure out, you've got some sort of memory of, hey, that definitely isn't a language that is in common. That's some other sort of language. You're sure you recognize this title from somewhere, or at least, and this is where I do some sort of weird world building that I'm probably going to backtrack on in some future game. But you recognize that language as Deutsch, which is a language that isn't really spoken in Inkwell that much, because Common is the major language for Inkwell. But you know that, like, on some other continent, on the other side of the world, it's a bit more popular there. So maybe it has something to do with other languages.
Okay, so I can't recognize what it says at all. Just that it's in a different language.
You don't quite recognize the word itself, but you do recognize that the D means the. You have no idea what the Elenden means, but you know it starts with a the.
Nice.
All right. Where do you guys want to start?
I think Tammy is going to unceremoniously start heading towards oh god, she's gonna start heading towards. Okay, this is what she's gonna do. She's gonna start heading towards science, and then she turns and goes, "Well, what? It could be technology, but it could be society." And she's just like weaving this weird circle, trying to figure out where this one book would go, just because she recognizes the one word about heights.
Yeah, like where do phobias fit?
I'm just gonna put my hand on her shoulder and say, "What is the book you're looking for?"
She just holds the card to you like that's all the information that you need.
The card. What does the card say?
The intricacies of aquaphobia.
Can Luka also take a look at the card and have an idea, maybe?
Yeah, sure thing. Roll me perception or investigation as well, then.
Yep.
Doing like the equivalent of giving you guys advantage if you are, working together. And I'm just going to pin these two. I'm going to pin the library layout and the list of books.
Sure,
That's a 5.
What is with you guys' rolls?
Look,
Tired.
look.
You said when you go to the library, you disassociate.
Yep, yeah, that is fair.
Should I roll investigation as well?
Yeah, if you're helping out, you know what? I want to
Yeah.
give you guys more information. Okay, that's an
Nice.
18. Thank fuck. All right, investigation. Yeah, you remember acrophobia is definitely you remember that's fear of heights for sure. Maybe that has something to do with why it's unshelvable. You also remember that like phobias and such tend to get put under. This is the point where I've completely forgotten because I forgot to write this down in my notes. That tends to get put on phobias. Sometimes tend to be philosophy, and sometimes they tend to be society. So those are probably two ways that you want to kind of go down and have a look for books on phobias.
Okay. Well, okay. We can split up. I can go to philosophy, and you could go to society. I think that's what would work.
She nods and stomps off to society.
I'm going to philosophy.
Are we splitting up the party?
Yes.
Oh yeah, baby.
We're gonna be fine.
Astounding.
Probably not, but
There's a party of 3, so somebody's going to be alone, and neither I nor Luka like that.
Oh.
Oh no.
Did you two go together? As he waves his hand and leaves into the philosophy.
He kind of flinches and tries to say, given this is an unfamiliar situation, maybe we should all try and stay together.
She pokes her head out from the corridor she led into. I guess, but that's longer time spent here.
There are worse places to spend time than a library.
Fucking her face scrunches a little, and then settles. Like, yeah, I guess. She will regroup.
Dixie has already gone into philosophy.
Then I guess we should probably follow Dixie into philosophy.
Yeah.
Alright, if you're all headed down the same place, can I get perception rolls from all 3 of you, please?
Oh no, perception?
Yeah.
I will do that. Perception's not great. But also, can I do a I know it's supposed to be the other way around, but can I do a history check on Luka to see if Tammy recognizes Luka and his candy store?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, he owns a candy store?
Right, so that was the perception, and then I'll do history.
Okay, so that's a 10 from Dixie, a 12 from Luka, and a 14 from Tammy. That's not too bad. And a 15 for history. Well, this is up to you. A 15 is is definitely a successful roll. How much do you reckon that Tammy would recognize or know about Luka?
Okay, so given that I did say in my first game Wow, sorry, my voice is scratchy.
No, it's okay.
It's okay.
Luka's not the only one who's apparently a little sick today, but I did say in my first game that he hadn't actually opened up the candy store by the time he got on the train. Games where he's had the candy store open have been sort of after Neverending Train, which is why he got a design upgrade, but that's neither here nor there.
Now, the thing is, time does work weird. It is entirely possible on the train, it is entirely possible for people a little bit in your future to wind up meeting you in the past. So it is still possible for Lizz to know about Luka. But
I
also,
was going to say,
yeah.
He has been, like, making and selling candies before before he had the candy store. He would just sell them through other outlets, basically. So it might not be that she knows Luka himself as a person, like recognizes him as a person, but the candy that he gave you would be easily recognizable as a test batch of Sunshine Splash Drop.
Oh, okay.
Which would mean that, oh, this is the person who makes those. So you would know that he makes candy. You would probably, I wouldn't say he's, a super duper popular candy maker, but he's decently popular. So it's entirely possible that you recognize the candy he makes, put two and two together, and are like, oh, this is that guy.
So, sort of in a weird haze, she's like, so are you planning on making more of these? Because me and my friend had this like a while ago when we visited Toontown. We just found it in a random store. And these are great. And she's like holding the wrapper. Like, you making more of these?
That actually brings a bit of the saturation back to him, and he actually smiles and says, yes, actually, I'm working on opening up my candy store. I was supposed to open the morning before I got on the train, but I don't know how much time has passed, and I'm a little worried that by now the building might have been repossessed, and dear, that would be a bit of a problem, but yes, I am planning on making them more often in the future.
Yeah, the weight of time definitely passes over Tammy's mind again. Say, well, at least when we get off this train, you'll have a customer. I hope that's something. She just gives a little goofy smile at Luka.
His hair kind of fluffs up Ghibli style, and he smiles, and it still looks tired and weak and sick as hell, but he's that very clearly cheered him up. So he just quietly says, thank you. I look forward to seeing you.
That is so wholesome.
Yes. Oh, I love that. That's very good. And I'm sorry to go, but we're onwards with the game.
Now, after this fluffy moment, I've been looking around to see if there's any shelves that this book could go in, or anything about phobias.
Yeah, I will actually say, Dixy, as you are looking around with the tent, you don't really notice any holes on the shelves or anything amiss. However, you do notice that this place doesn't seem to just have philosophy, it kind of has psychology sort of things as well. So good news is you did most likely go down the right set of shelves. However,
Yes.
It is actually Tammy that spots something fun, and it is just a book lying out on the floor, and it happens to have the title, The Intricacies of Acrophobia.
Oh, sweet. Tammy will pick it up. Who is taller, Luka or Dixy?
How tall is Dixy?
How many Larrys tall?
Larry's? I don't know how to measure Larry's. I'm sorry.
We are disappointed in you. Larry's are the standard measurement of
No,
height on
I'm
the server.
sorry. Please.
It's okay. No, how many feet?
5'6".
Oh, short.
Yeah.
Well, average.
Luka is definitely taller. He's 6'3". I think if you're going to go by character measurements, he's a little less than a Marcel.
Damn.
Dang.
Amazing. So like that's so, like you're a tiny bit taller than Larry. Okay, that's fair.
Wait, can I roll insight on the book that's on the floor? I know that sounds weird, but I have a hunch.
Go ahead.
And Luka's the type of person who ascribes personality to inanimate objects, so...
Go ahead. Oh, I will actually ask, because Tammy, you did actually pick up the book, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
You've now passed it to Luka?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in this case, Luka, seeing as you actually thought to make this roll, I'm going to give you advantage because you do A, you are tall, B, you're being careful, and that's a 24. Do you want to roll again and see if you can get even higher? You don't have to.
I would love to. I mean, you can always get a nat 20.
Yeah, yep. Or
Okay,
that one.
well, apparently not.
Let's go with the 24.
Oh, that's great. All right, with the 24, yeah, you pick this up, and as Tammy kind of hands it up to you, you notice that, like, as you're leaning down to pick it from Tammy, you can feel a very slight trembling, and as you lift it up to kind of like around your chest height, yeah, you can feel this book kind of like shuddering and shaking a little bit in your hands. It's not happy to be where it currently is. You know, with that 24, you might even say it might be a bit scared.
So the book is sentient.
Okay, the minute Luka notices the shaking, and notices, oh shit, the poor thing's scared, all of the, well, not all of the, but most of the color except for sort of the pink in his hair just sort of drains out completely, and he quickly, like, sits down on the floor and, like gently tries to shush the book, like, it's okay.
Yeah,
You don't have to go up if you don't want to.
The shaking subsides. It's not gone completely because, you know, it is still like a little bit high. Like, you're still kind of holding it up. It's not directly on the floor, but it's no longer outright shaking. It's just like a very gentle, like every so often a very slight shiver, slight tremble kind of thing. It does seem a bit calmer compared to before.
Yeah, he's holding this poor little book in his lap and like gently patting the cover. It's okay.
I do
You're
have to
welcome.
ask, how do Dixy and Tammy react to this? Because you've just seen, like, Luka pick up this book and then immediately sit down and start stroking at it.
Well,
Yeah, and he's like telling
not
the
a
book,
cat.
it's okay. Scared. You tried to pick up a book about acrophobia and give it to the tallest person in the room. The poor thing's terrified.
Okay.
Just like eyebrows knitted, like and
Huh?
what? Yeah, just what book is it? Like, what's she like walks up to Luka and she's like trying to see if there's like a number system on its spine.
Oh god, this is the point where, like, technically it would have it. I have no idea at the point in terms of, give me a moment while I scroll through the fucking Dewey Decimal list. Like, I have this up for a reason, but, like, okay, I'm gonna be honest. I have no idea what it would actually fit under, other than most likely somewhere in the 150 range is probably where phobia is going. I'm no doubt going to have some librarian listen to this and go, no, you're completely wrong. But I will say, you managed to find the number along the bit of bookshelves you see in bookshelves filled with other books on various phobias. You notice it's kind of at a shelf that's just above, oh, thank you, Whirl. It's 152. Bless you. You are wonderful. Yeah, you notice a bunch of other books that are also on phobias, and the shelf is kind of just above Luka's head height.
Oh dear.
Okay.
Wait, Luka's standing head height or Luka sitting on the ground head height?
Luka's standing head height, like you would have to reach above you to pop it back in the shelf.
Or someone can climb on him.
Oh, goodness. No wonder the poor thing's scared. Oh, poor baby.
Is there a plaque on the sort of levels denoting the numbers, like on each shelf level?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
Yeah, everything is very neatly ordered.
This is what Tammy's gonna do. Tammy is so tired, just about everything. So she's gonna climb the shelf to the height of where it's supposed to be and rip off the plaque.
Okay,
Why?
give me either athletics or acrobatics for the climbing, and just a straight up strength roll to tear the little plaque off.
I think I see where
Okay.
you're going with this, and I like your thoughts.
I love this.
So this is the climbing. That's bad.
That's bad. Does anyone? I was gonna say, Dixie, you are watching this tight because what? Tammy's like 3 feet tall.
Oh
Yeah, she's short.
Yeah. Yeah, Dixie, as you are watching this happen, do you maybe want to do anything to help, or at least ask what's going on?
What?
no! If she falls, I will roll to
What
catch her.
are you doing?
I'm just gonna readjust where this book needs to belong. Don't tell the librarian. Now, are you gonna have a redemption arc and help me, villain?
Okay. I'll help. I'll just. Can I pick her up?
Yeah, absolutely. Do give me a strength roll, but it won't be a very difficult one.
Please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, 15. You pick Tammy up easily.
What was it? Athletics to rip it out?
Yeah, just a strength roll to try and rip the plate off. That's 3. Alright, I tell you what, you have advantage because you've got someone else picking you up and holding you, and you don't need to worry about, like, clinging to the shelf as you tear at this.
Okay, I'm just gonna check my equipment, actually, just see if I have anything that can help.
I mean, like, you could pull a crowbar out of your hammer space, maybe?
I'll pull a crowbar out of my hammer space, actually.
No, I have a... Okay, that's cool. I like that.
Alright.
So, D10,
10.
let's see what I get.
There
Okay,
you go.
good. So, just reaches in the pocket and pulls out a crowbar. It's a bit bigger than you are, but it works. And he hands it to you.
This is actually not technically against the rules. There's no about
Yeah!
reshelving things.
Yeah.
There's just a no about damaging books, and we're not damaging books. We're damaging the shelves and stopping emotional damage from happening to a book. So if anything, we're perfectly within the rules and in fact upholding the rules.
Exactly.
Just don't tell the librarian.
Alright.
Be quiet about it.
Yeah. Alright, now that you have a crowbar and you're not just using your hands, you can make another make another strength roll with advantage, thanks to some leverage. Good old physics.
Okay. 1.
A 16
that
isn't
works, I
bad.
think. And then 3.
Take the 16.
Well then.
Yep. What is with the roll? There are some truly atrocious rolls going on in this game. It's great. All right, yeah. With a
Everyone's
16,
tired.
yeah. With a 16, it does take a little bit of weaseling to try and get the crowbar behind the plate, but then you get it in shove and whoop, the metal clicks off and clatters onto the floor. You guys can hear from a little bit of a distance a whole shh coming from the librarian, but no other noise than that.
Nice. And just the stick it onto a bottom shelf.
Yeah.
No, she has a hammer. She's gonna try and knock it in quietly.
Wait, but hold up. Then we have to move the entire phobia section down to the bottom shelf. So do we need to swap out the books that are there with the phobia?
How many books
Yes.
are on the bottom shelf? May I ask?
Oh god. There's probably give me 2 seconds to actually count how many books I've got on my bookshelf.
Oh no.
6. Okay, it's something along the lines of 30 to 40 books on that one section of the shelf. Each section has got its own number, so it's not too bad. It is just a little bit of effort to have to kind of pick out books from the bottom shelf and move those ones up, move those ones down, that sort of thing.
Can I suggest a thing? Because as somebody who works with, mixing things and baking and cooking, Luka would probably know a thing or two about organization because he has to keep certain ingredients of his very close track.
Absolutely. What do you suggest?
Luka is going to suggest that we get the books off of both shelves in individual stacks, swap the bottom plate up to the top to where the top plate was, and keep the phobia plate down at the bottom. So we don't traumatize the poor acrophobia book. and then like we stack them in order, and then we put all of the ones from the bottom shelf on the top shelf at once, and then all the ones from the bottom shelf, or all the ones from the top shelf on the bottom shelf.
Sounds like a
The old
plan.
switcheroo.
All right. Okay. This is going to be up to you guys. Your choice between dexterity and strength. I do want everyone to make a roll, just to kind of see how this whole process goes. You're not going to fail
Dex
at it.
time.
Yeah. Like, unless you outright roll a 1, you're not going to fail. Okay, yeah, so.
Okay,
Very nice.
Strength is actually pretty good for me. I'm gonna roll strength.
Nice. Okay, with that we've got a 17 from Dixy. Yeah, you're having a fine time. You kind of have to reach your arm up to its very top for you to be able to grab the top shelf, but you can grab books off more or less easily and bring them down to stack into a pile. Tammy, with that 13, you start work on the bottom shelf and you kind of scoop all those books out to make sure there's plenty of room, and even pop the other little label off, which was 153, let's say.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to say, yeah, like that's the sort of conscious mental processes and intelligence. I gotta say, the guy that invented the Dewey Decimal System was an absolute bastard, but like, organization good.
Should I still roll strength, or should I roll something else to maybe make sure that, you know, everything gets back into its place properly?
Oh, if you want to make sure everything goes in place, in that case, roll me intelligence, actually.
Oh boy.
I'll
so good at.
Systems.
12.
Can I assist?
Yes, you can. Yeah, go ahead. Although I will say a 12 is still good enough that, like, you get a bit confused once or twice, but 9.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, let's call it this. Luka, you start organizing the books into, like, one pile and another pile. Some of them accidentally kind of slide off and they shift about a little bit and they kind of fall into each other. You get a bit confused for a second, but thankfully, Dixy was watching and can now easily help you sort everything back into the piles they're meant to be in. I think next up... Oh, you go.
I'm just gonna split the pile so it's not like a huge, tall stack of books, so it's like 2 stacks instead that are smaller.
A smart move. Well done, you have thwarted an evil plan I had. Yeah.
Luka very dizzily thanks Dixy.
Oh, yeah. Now, Tammy, you mentioned something about hammering the plates back onto the shelves. Can I get a stealth roll from you?
Oh,
dun, 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 dun. Yes. Oh, fuck. Stealth is not doing well right now.
Yeah.
Nope, that's not it. Well, it's a 2.
Well,
that's a 2, technically.
Well, it's a 2 plus 2. So like that's a 4. Right.
Uh-oh.
Well, with that, I think, yeah, you kind of go very gentle hammering. You make like the smallest little movements, ready to go like tap, tap, and then you wheel back and thwack, dung, 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 and then you guys have this one moment of just pure stillness and silence as you realize your mistake. And then the librarian seems to just manifest out of the bookshelves behind you. She's got arms right in front of her lips, ready to go shh, and all her other arms out spidering behind her as she leans forward, snatches the hammer off you, Tammy, and then melts back into the bookshelf. And yeah, you know your hammer's gone now. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, so the book is no longer the only thing that is scared.
You know, let me do it. Can I use artisan's tools?
Yes, you can. One sec. I just do need to ask Tammy, are you okay?
She's frozen, like half petrified, half livid, hands just parallel to each other where the hammer was, and she's just staring into the middle distance. She's frozen for a while.
Fantastic. Okay, yeah, Dixy, you said you had artisan's tools.
Yes.
All right, because you've got proficiency with them?
Yes, as an artificer, I do.
Absolutely. All right, in
I
that
think.
case, you can have you can have a go at hammering this in, and you will have advantage on stealth, thanks to knowing what you're doing.
Nice. Okay, wait. So that's just stealth.
Just stealth.
Just stealth roll. Okay. Okay.
It's a 10.
Let's.
It's a 12.
Okay.
Okay. Let me actually just quickly roll a thing.
Yeah.
You are very lucky that the librarian was rather busy at that point of time and did not notice that, because you were a little bit louder than you probably should be in a library, but the librarian had thunked a book down on a pile at the same time that you hammered it in, so thankfully you have now hammered in the bottom plate successfully.
Just the smallest hand, face, wiping off sweat, okay, good.
Can Luka offer to do a thing for the top one, because he's tallest?
Yep, probably a good idea, else I would have done disadvantage there. Now, do you have proficiency with any sort of tools?
Actually, he wasn't going to try and do it with tools. He was going to... I'm assuming these are held in with nails?
Yes, like little pins.
So, wherever the old plate was, there would be holes left behind from where the pins were.
There are, yes.
So, Luka is going to gently set down his friend the Acrophobia book, pick up the top shelf plate, and try and find those holes so he can just sort of press the plate into where the old one was, because that makes the most sense.
I will actually say, good news is I'm not going to make you roll anything to achieve this, because it's not too hard to do, unless you were going to get a 0 on your dex roll. You manage it. The one thing you do notice is it doesn't seem to be in very firmly. Obviously,
Kai, you're cutting out a little bit. Can you repeat that?
Sorry. I won't make you do any rolls for this, because this is a pretty easy task, so you're good. The downside is, even though you have managed to press the plate and the pins back in, they don't seem to be in very firmly. Maybe the holes got widened a bit when you were breaking the other one off. It'll stay for now, but you're not sure how long that'll be.
Anyone have mending?
Tammy does have mending. She's just still frozen, turns around and puts her hands up as for a lift me sort of gesture again.
Luka will try and lift this small friend of his.
Now, before you go casting anything, Tammy, I do actually just quickly have to ask, does mending have any verbal components to it?
It probably does. Yes, it does.
Okay, cool.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you go to cast it, you open your mouth ready to say whatever words needed to actually fix things, and nothing comes out.
So spells are useless.
Verbal spells are useless.
Tammy is...
Go ahead.
I'm so glad Luka is holding Tammy in this moment, or she would have just started going towards the librarian, and nothing good was going to come out from that interaction.
He's going to offer her a hug if she wants one.
Oh, she doesn't... if you want to hug Tammy, you can, but she's not going to be actively hugging back, because she's too mad and she doesn't really do hugs anyway.
That's valid. He's going to then, I guess, keep a hold of her to keep her from storming off after the librarian, because that's not going to end well for anyone, and that thing was terrifying. But he's also going to, reach into his hammer space again. He's been doing that a lot this episode. And
works.
He's going to look for... God, would epoxy glue exist in Toonkind Land?
Maybe not necessarily epoxy glue, but glue definitely exists.
Yeah, so he's gonna look for some like glue to see if maybe that can help get it all fastened into place.
Yeah, go ahead. I will also just make that's an 8, so that works. I will also note the inability to speak so far only seems limited to Tammy. I'm guessing like Luka, you maybe would have gone like, oh here, let me try when it came to just before you were gonna push the next thing in, saying that to Dixie before like going to hammer anything. You two can still talk. It's only Tammy that seems to be silenced for now.
Oh no!
I have no mouth, but yeah, I must scream.
I'm sorry.
Oh no!
Okay, but good news. With that 8 for your hammer space roll, yep, you successfully managed to pull out some glue. Can I get a quick dex roll just to make sure that you like get an appropriate amount of glue in the right places?
Yeah, sure. That's a +0. This is gonna be luck of the draw.
Yep.
That's a 3. His hands are shaking.
I was gonna make this like as long as you got above like a 7, you would have succeeded.
His hands are shaking, man, and he's already carrying somebody, and like he's strong, but also he's off his medicine and dizzy and tired and
Yeah, oh god, yeah, no, you kind of get more glue over your hands and over the shelf and a little bit over Tammy than you do, you know, on the back of the plate.
oh god. Kid, can he cast prestidigitation, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
At the very least clean this up.
Yeah, no, good news is your spells are still working fine.
Yeah. Which, because Prismatone warlocks use magic with their voices, he just sort of mutters something like, oh, goodness, stupid shaky hands. Here, let me clean that up for you. And the words, clean that up for you, sort of turn into glowing pink and orange lines and bubbles in the air. And then the glue that is not on the back of the plate vanishes, and he puts the plate back in place.
Oh, I love that. Okay, yeah, I will say successfully you guys managed
doing his best.
Yeah, you get the plate in place. It does seem to be more or less sticking for now. You have successfully switched the shelves other than, you know, putting books back.
Yay, book time.
Yeah, I will let you guys fast forward through this because it isn't so much of a task, thankfully, because you have organized the books nice and easily before. So yeah, you just managed to, you more or less easily managed to pop the books back where they are meant to go. Like you now have the like 152s up at the top, and then all the phobia ones are down at the bottom.
The phobias are the 152s.
Ah, fuck. Well.
Okay. Uh-oh.
153.
The 153s are at the top.
That's what I meant. I have no sense of consistency at the moment. Yeah, so the books have been successfully swapped, and I will say, as you tuck the acrophobia book into its little slot at the bottom, it kind of seems to... It wiggles about a little bit as if it's cozying into its nice new ground floor shelf.
Oh, I love that so much.
Luka smiles and a bit of his color comes back. Oh, that's cute. That's so cute.
Congrats, you've solved this particular puzzle.
Yay! We found the book a new shelf.
Okay, so how many are left? And Dixie's gonna look at how many more books we have to put into place.
Yeah, well, you have D. Ellenden, which you know is in some other language, and that one is that one's currently missing. You also have 2 books, like the 2 book cards that seem to kind of be stapled together, of the Craft and Battle and the Sovereign, and the marking on those is just incompatible.
Oh god. Can I roll insight on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I roll investigation or would it be insight?
Depends what you're looking to get, because investigation is kind of your trying to puzzle out what clues there might be, whereas insight is more trying to get information on what those books themselves could be. And that's a 19 on insight from Luka. Okay, let's see what I will depends on what you get Dixie, I will tell you.
I'm going to try doing investigation for where it could be placed and what seems to be sticking them together.
Yeah.
Can I just say, I was actually rolling insight for a specific thing I want to notice.
Ooh, yeah, go ahead.
Luka, like, looks at the titles of the two books that are marked incompatible, looks back on the fact that they just dealt with a sentient book that didn't want to stay on its shelf because it was terrified of heights, and sighs and says, "Can we please do this one last? I really do not have the energy to solve a book fight."
Oh. Yeah, okay.
Oh god, sorry. Yeah, so just got on a note from Liz. Tammy is yelling while muted in the background of the scene. It has been a couple of minutes now. Tammy, as you are yelling, you start to notice that, oh wait, no, you're not entirely muted anymore. You can only just about hear the barest whisper of your voice starting to come through.
Incredible.
But dipped down to the minimum.
Yeah, pretty much. Your volume isn't off, but it's on at like 1%.
Oh god.
Sick. Alright, yeah. She's ready to go to not the book group that's fighting each other.
Okay.
Alright, so
This
on
is
to
the
Not in the mood to solve a book battle. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So in that case, if we're leaving the craft of battle and the sovereign until last, next up you have Die Elenden, which I'm going to apologize to anyone that speaks German, because my pronunciation is not great. Sorry, not German, seeing as we are in... Yeah, it's sorry, I called it Deutsch here, and it's spelt D-O-I.
Deutsch. Yes.
So... yeah, you guys, that book is currently listed as missing on the little cards that you guys were given. And as far as you know, you just know that the language it seems to be written in is Deutsch. That's about all you know.
Can I roll history on this book to see if I recognize it? Because I've been to college.
Absolutely. Tammy, you can do the same thing if you want. Especially as an art student.
18!
Ooh, nice.
Because Luka spent a lot of time in the library when he was in med school, so he's sort of like, okay, do I recognize where this would have been?
Okay, I'm guessing that was meant to be a 15 from you, Tammy? Yep. All right.
Yeah.
All right, so with that 18, and we're going on history and considering your various backgrounds, let's see. Luka, you definitely know the name of this book. You've heard of it. You know it's one of like those really big literary ones. You know it's a massive chunky book, but that kind of has like a lot of unnecessary stuff in it, but a lot of people seem to really like it and other people seem to really hate it. You know it's one of like the literary greats, and as far as you can remember, like you're fairly sure that the author is Hugo Victor, but like you're not 100% on that. Tammy, with that 15 and considering, you know, your art student background, you don't recognize it as a book necessarily, or you kind of do. You recognize it as the name of a very famous musical.
Oh my god, it's like Liz.
Yeah.
Yep. I literally just translated it into German to get that title.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tammy, you no doubt were kind of like quasi friends with a bunch of fucking theatre kids who would go off singing the songs.
Fun.
Could I just say, when Luka recognizes the title, he just sort of sighs, and he's leaning on his cane, so like one shoulder is still higher than the other, but his shoulders droop, and he just kind of laughs and mutters, "Well, that's appropriate."
What is appropriate?
Nothing. Come on, it's probably in the literature section. Or it might have misplaced itself into history.
Oh, shit.
There's
Check
plenty of
literature
places.
first.
There are plenty of places it could have misplaced itself too. I'm not going to say which one.
Could be the arts if it's. It could be the arts if it's the play version. So.
All right, where are you going to check first?
Let's start with literature, because that's where it's supposed to be. At the very least, maybe we can find where it was. Because it's a big book. It would have a big open spot on the shelf.
Can I have the book? And I'm gonna do like grabby hands at the book.
Oh, no, you haven't actually got the book. You've only got like the little card at the moment that says what the book is.
Okay. Whoops.
It's just
then
that
no.
Yeah, it's just that these two have recognized, oh yeah, this is what the book actually is. This is what it's about. Do either of you actually fill in Dixie of like what this book is? Because Dixie did
Please
not.
give me the knowledge.
Yeah, Dixie doesn't know.
I think Luka would fill him in if Tammy doesn't.
Yeah, Tammy's not really a speaker.
Tammy is being quiet, so Luka will just kind of say, it's this, it's a very famous work of literature, classic literature, very wordy, a little bit on the depressing side, I will admit, but it should be in literature, but I am assuming that it has misplaced itself elsewhere. But let's check literature first, because then we can see where it was.
Mm-hmm.
And he, like, holds up a hand and, like, says, the thing's this thick, and, like, has his thumb and his index finger about as far apart as they can go. It's going to leave a big indent where it's been missing on the shelf.
That is a big book.
What was that noise, Liz?
You see why I've been muting when I'm not speaking?
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's some big strange monster moving beneath the bookshelves or something. Okay.
Books are growling.
Well, I mean...
To literature.
To literature. I will actually say, looking at time, I did have like another section of this game intended, but I probably am not going to deal with it because I don't feel like combat. So...
extremely fair.
So that was whatever you were going to combat has now kind of moved on. Anyway, yes, you head over to literature, and can I get either perception or investigation checks from everyone?
Before I do one for this room, can I do a perception check on the librarian as we walk past?
Yeah,
because absolutely. I want to see where my hammer is.
Yeah, cool. Please go ahead. I want to see if you can find it.
Where's my...
Okay.
So we have a nat 20 and a 0 right next to each other.
That's amazing. Okay.
Oh, God. Liz, can I please picture that as Tammy giving the librarian the stink eye as they pass?
Yes!
Perfect. Yeah. No, Tammy, all right, I'll tell you what, actually. Considering that was a crit fail with a -1, it's not just that you don't have any idea where this thing is. You know where it is. You know for certain where it is, because you can see this little wire basket underneath the desk that you can kind of just see like the opposite side from where you're standing if you're peering over and like kind of like dodge around like where the librarian is sitting. You can see like this little wire basket that's labeled lost and found that seems to be full of stuff, and you're certain your hammer is there. It's not lost, but the librarian found it, and you know your hammer is in there.
I'm so sorry, gang. She does a detour and goes to the librarian.
Oh dear.
Taking out she still hasn't handed back Luka's notebook and pen. She's planning on giving it back. She just forgot, but she's gonna write a note saying, "I need help trying to find this book. It's called Save the Cat, the only book on screenwriting you'll ever need," and she's gonna hand it over to the librarian.
Okay, yep, the librarian picks it up in one of her many arms. Can I get a deception roll from you, please?
Yeah.
Oh lordy.
Come on.
Deception.
I love this.
God.
It's a 25.
Oh yeah.
It's a dirty 25. Okay, yeah, no. The librarian looks at it for several seconds, and kind of then doesn't obviously register it as anything wrong. Hands you back the note. Arms start going whirring through like all the little tick cards. You kind of see two of them going flip, 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 flip through a long roll of cards. Pulls one out, double checks it. Nope, wrong one. And then grabs it again. And yeah, it is actually like a little index card of this, pointing out its very specific thing. However, this is going to take us several seconds. So what do you plan?
Mage Hand, please. She would like to cast Mage Hand as close to the losses found basket and just do a would it be like an investigation check to see if it's there, or is this just?
I think this is just straight up going to be a rummage roll, because you can't really see into this thanks to like your height and the height of the desk. Like you can just about tell where it is enough for Mage Hand to go in, but like you can't see what Mage Hand is picking up. So I'm gonna tell you what. Let me just get the fucking. I'm gonna do like the equivalent of the hammer space fumble here, and I'm just gonna roll a d20 and see what you get. 18. Okay, you pull out this. On like you find your mage hand clamps around this round feeling thing, and you can kind of go, yes, that must be the handle of the hammer. Lift the mage hand up, and it's holding this ornate bronze spyglass. Do you want to keep it, or do you want to keep rummaging?
I'm debating how inconsiderate she is going to be right now.
Oh dear.
Extremely. She's going to toss it over the edge of the counter and continue rummaging. She's going to have 2 more tries.
One moment.
Yes, it will make a noise.
Yeah, I'm just going to... Okay, alright, with a 15, thankfully it doesn't shatter or anything. You kind of just toss it to the edge, makes a thunk on the ground, but the librarian is very caught up in her task and doesn't notice it. You get another go, and let's see what you pull out this time. 7, that is... You pull out an alarm clock. It immediately goes off the moment you touch it.
Oh no.
I've been imagining she's been sitting on the edge of the desk smiling while the hand, like arms crossed, like I'm not doing anything, while her mage hand is going crazy and the alarm clock goes off and it's just the whole facade shatters.
Oh, shit. I was going to ask if we could see this because I was going to just walk over and see if I could persuade the librarian to please give my friend her hammer back. She was just trying to help.
No, yeah, you like both Dixie and Luka would definitely be able to see this whole thing happening. However, because it's happening very quickly, you don't really get enough time to react until the alarm clock goes off. And the librarian immediately whips around, one of the hands snatching the alarm clock out of the air, shoving it back in the box, another hand grabbing your mage hand and pulling it aside, and another one just kind of picking Tammy up by the collar and lifting you into the air. Anyone want to do anything? Because the librarian is raising a finger up to their pseudo lips to shush Tammy again.
Okay, can Luka come over? Not very fast, obviously, because ow, but can he try and persuade that I'm really sorry, my friend is just really attached to that hammer of hers, and she was just trying to help, so could you please give it back to her? We weren't trying to cause you any trouble.
Okay, now the bad news is, can I get a stealth roll?
And I will say he's doing this in...
Like, yeah, if you are talking very quietly, give me stealth roll with advantage.
No, he wasn't talking quietly. Is Toon sign language a thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's animated sign language.
So yeah, he's going to try and say all that using animated sign language.
Well, good news, the librarian is up to date with literally every language possible, and so understands you, thankfully. And just kind of like stops there for a second, still holding up Tammy, finger half raised to her lips, glaring at you. And then the finger slowly lowers, and then Tammy is slowly lowered back to the ground. and then just pat, pat on top of Tammy's head. And then the librarian goes back to doing work. You do not get your hammer back.
Does Tammy know animated sign language?
Probably loosely. Yeah, like she knows anime sign language, but there's that slight deficit.
Yeah, he like uses simpler signs and is like, "We can get it later, please. If we help, maybe she'll be nice to us, or maybe they'll be nice to us."
I think, meanwhile, we've got Dixy has kind of half wandered off down.
Yeah, he's gone. He's like, okay, you guys can deal with your own stuff. I'm bye.
Because there's still that Nat 20 from earlier that we never actually addressed, and thank you for being so patient, Chili, while we get deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, yeah, Dixy, you've wandered off down the shelf, and, like, in an instant, because this book is so chunky, you can instantly see where this book was obviously missing from, because there's a giant gap in the shelf that's kind of, like, around a meter off the ground, and, like, it's numbered H32, and, yeah, there's just a huge gap where a book seems to be missing.
Okay. Is there any signs of, like, did it grow legs and leave or something?
You do notice that, like, because this library is a little bit dusty, not super dusty, but enough that, like, it probably could do with a bit of a clean. You notice that there are, like, little drag marks in the dust right next to where the book should be shelved. Looks like something kind of, like, slid off it, and then you can kind of see a tiny flecks of dust on the floor where it looks like something thunked down onto the floor. And then there's not really enough dust to kind of trail on from there, but it looks, from the looks of things, this book, again, I'm going off your ridiculously good roll from before. It looks kind of like this book slid off the shelf, thunked onto the floor, and then meandered off, maybe.
Forward or behind me?
You can't tell. There's sadly not quite enough dust for you to track that exactly.
So it's in...
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, sorry.
Is it in the... This? Is the dust in this area of shelves?
Yeah, that's the dust in the literature area, specifically the Deutsch and related literature, because this world, which we don't technically have a name for, doesn't have German.
I see. Okay, well, I'm gonna start going just down the hall to see if there's any more signs.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say, when you're going back down the hall, you are headed back towards the like central area of the library, because yeah, like from what you could tell of the dust, yeah, you are right. There was a tiny drag marks that was kind of heading back to the center of the library, rather than further down the literature section.
Okay, then. Yeah, so I'm gonna head back.
Yep. I think this is the point where you kind of see,
Can
these two arguing.
Oh my god. I'm gonna ignore him and go to... Maybe?
Can I cast message to ask if Dixie found it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
You can reply back with message, yes?
Yeah, you just
Okay.
pick the thing.
Just in head, it's like, well, it seems like it came back in here, so that's the only thing I got.
By the way, sorry, I like describing how Luka's magic looks because it's fun. Basically, when he casts message, it just kind of looks like there's sort of a crown of pink squiggly lines and orangey yellow bubbles floating around your head.
Oh, that's the greatest thing.
I love it.
And you kind of get a reply back through message. Okay, you might want to check history next. It's based on historical fiction. We'll catch up with
Okay, so I'm gonna just dart back, sharp turn into history.
Alrighty, give me another investigation or perception roll as you check out this new area. And I will say, are there any, that's a 9. Okay, are there any, like, specific sections you're looking at, down this history? Because, like, I will say, this is the area that you came out before, so you notice, like, it is history, it is also geography. So there's, like, that little bit more to it. What other things are you kind of looking for? Like, yeah, were there any other, like, clues?
Looking for maybe anything where books could have been moved? Well, if there's any, like, tampering with anything like that could indicate something came through here.
Alright, yeah, in that case, yeah, because you're looking out for a specific thing, I will let you have advantage on that roll and hope that you get higher than a 9.
Slightly.
That's an 11, okay. With that, you're having a look around. I'm going to say you do not actually manage to find out specifically where this book is. However, you can start to classify, like, the different sections of this, and it does seem to be predominantly history, and you kind of notice that...
You're cutting out really bad.
Yeah, sorry, my internet is absolutely rubbish. I do apologize. Am I coming through all right now, or is it still ugh?
Not much. I didn't get a lot of that.
Fantastic.
Unfortunately, big chunks of it are going missing.
Fantastic. Okay, give me like 2 minutes to quickly go and check something. Feel free to talk among yourselves while I do this.
Okie dokie. So how are y'all today?
Pretty good.
I'm consuming this orange juice at a bad rate. It's almost done, and I bought it today.
Nice.
Oh dear.
Hello, Hazelnut Gallery.
Hello.
Hello, Hazelnut Gallery.
Luka is good.
Look,
God.
We cherish.
Oh, thank you.
Man, which none of our characters has noticed that he's very sick.
Yeah, I was like, I wasn't expecting it to be this fun. Look, for first time playing with people I don't exactly know, it's fun.
You're doing
I'm
great.
glad.
You're a blast. You're a blast to play with. You're both a blast to play with.
Yeah. Right back at you.
I do have a thing that I kind of want to do. If we eventually find the book, the big one, I want to have Luka try and pick it up and then roll Constitution. And if he rolls too low, he's going to end up passing out. So, like,
no.
No. God.
Wait.
Luka tries to pick up the book.
Oh no! Luka, are you okay?
Just a note for a thing I want to do when we find the book. It's fine.
Fantastic. Okay, am I coming through any better now, or is it still kind of blech?
You're coming through. You're cutting out.
Okay, the fix worked. Hurrah!
Hurrah!
I look forward to listening back through this recording to hearing the the whatever chaos and heartbreak you just sprung on the audience.
Oh no.
Oh, I would actually like to say, while you guys are doing about this, if you want, you can make another insight check on Luka at this point, seeing as you've had a chance to kind of get to know him at least a tiny bit more.
Yeah.
I'll do that now, because Luka has saved me.
Can I do that?
Yes.
Okay. But yes. It's not a natural.
It's not a nat 1, but it's still a 1. And that's a 4 from Tammy.
4. Neither
Nothing has
noticed
changed.
anything.
I'm so sorry, Luka. I'm so sorry. They know
No,
nothing.
this, as Luka's player, this delights me, because this means I can have fun, dramatic moments. What? No, nothing.
Oh, wait, no, wait, huh?
See, this is the problem with having another DM in my game. Just get so much more drama. Okay, anyway. Where were we? Dixie, you were looking through the history thing. You do not manage to find the book, not with the roll that you got before. But you do kind of notice that, like, all right, yeah, there's the history of Inkwell, there's history of Feruma, there's history of, like, some of the other continents that are yet to be named. We are going to get around to doing more world building at some point.
Okay.
I volunteer as tribute.
No, it's like all of, like, us mods need to get together, and, like, preferably with a bunch of other people who have like, all the DMs as well helping out. We just need to make a fucking map of the entire world and hopefully do something.
Mod conference.
Yeah, pretty much.
I want in on this. I love world
The
building.
council.
Are me and Tammy following, or is Tammy still trying to fight the librarian?
Good question.
She is following for now. She is plotting.
Oh no.
Oh dear. Okay. Yeah. Did you guys want to make like either investigation or perception rolls as well?
Yes.
Can I argue either rolling history or rolling with advantage, because trying to find, specifically since we both know what this book is about, we know what the historical context of the historical fiction would be. Would we be able to find the history section where information on that war would be?
You know what? Yes, you two can have advantage, seeing as, like, you have more specifics on what the book is about.
Okay.
Yay. Okay, so I'm gonna roll perception. 23. That's a 14.
Not too bad.
3.
This is
That's a 16. We'll take the 16.
Nice.
10, 2.
Okay, yeah.
Tammy, I think you're a little bit too distracted with plotting vengeance against the librarian at the moment. Thankfully, Luka knows what he is looking for. And yeah, you make a bit of, as soon as you kind of figure out where the sections are, you make a beeline towards the appropriate section. And yeah, you can easily enough find where the history of Deutschland would actually be. And sadly, you do not actually manage to find the book because you aren't quite in the right section. But it does look like there is a gap in the shelf where it looks like, hey, a book around the size of that one probably was here for a little bit, but it doesn't seem to be here anymore. So you are following the path, but you haven't caught up to it yet.
Oh, art's next, baby?
Arts or literature?
She's just gonna turn around and... Oh, how far are they from me? Would I have to, like, be loud in order for them to hear me?
Don't yell.
Yeah, no loud noises.
I'm gonna walk towards you guys.
Yes.
And then ask, okay, found anything?
I will. Oh, actually, you know what I realize? As you guys are kind of gathering here, you're not quite next to specifically the history section. You notice you're next to the travel section, specifically geography rather than history. And out of the corner of your eye, Luka, you catch like, most of the travel books tend to be either reasonably, like, thin and tall, or they're kind of short and not chunky, but they're not as chunky as the book that you can kind of just see there, out of the corner of your eye.
Oh, goodness. I'm going to try and take a look at this book.
Yep. I'm not going to make you roll or anything, but yeah, as you turn, you notice that, oh god, what the fuck did I call it? D. Ellenden? You notice that is actually snuggled up right next to a travel guide for Deutschland, and sitting there quite cozily.
That actually makes him laugh, and he, like, points at, he, like, taps both the others on the shoulder, points to the book, and then walks over Can I roll persuasion to persuade the book to go back to its place?
Please do.
That is a +7.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
That's a 17.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, with that, yeah. Please, all right, with a 17, that is a successful sort of persuasion. Please tell me how you managed to persuade it.
Okay, so he very carefully, like, maneuvers, so he's, like, sitting down next to the book and is like, excuse me, I know that, you're a book with a very high esteem and very, and a book of wide renown, but, well, you're a bit out of place and people are having trouble finding you. You've been marked missing. You're supposed to be here. And he shows the book, the card, with the where you're supposed to be on it.
Yes, perfect. Do you have anything else to add to that, or is that your persuasion?
I will say,
yeah, because at this, what you've done so far, you can kind of see the book shifting a little bit, kind of like it's grumbling.
He'll offer to take the book back to its place, and maybe give out a couple recommendations to other passengers that, hey, if you're in the library car, this book is a real page turner. It's a long page turner, but it's well worth the time.
You know what? You have been polite enough and kind enough that it stops its little grumble wobbling and just slides back out of the shelf a little bit. Not so much that it falls, but enough that you can easily grab it from where it is sitting.
Awesome. Now you get to see why the chat was yelling at me. I'm going to try and have Luka pick up the book, and instead of strength, I'm going to roll Constitution.
Probably a good idea. Yeah, sorry, Dixie?
Uh-oh. Wait, no, I wouldn't notice that. I wouldn't notice.
Yeah, because you don't know.
If he was...
That's a 3. That is not above a 10. So I would like to, explain how this looks, if that's okay.
Go ahead.
Sure.
He, tries to very gently pick up this book, and, he manages to get it off the shelf, manages to get it in his lap. He stands up, holding the book, and then it's kind of like the weight of it hits him, and because he has to hold it with both hands, he doesn't have his cane to lean on.
Oh, no.
And so the swaying that's been going on the whole time gets a lot worse. He gets really dizzy. All the color drains out of him, and he faints.
Can I just say, there is a mood. That is a mood. But oh dear, Luka.
Oh.
And I will note that he's he noticed that he was starting to pass out, and he's like, oh shit, oh fuck. And he's holding the book so that it doesn't fall on the floor, because that would be rude.
he's fucking dead.
Just looking at Luka, looking at Dixie, God.
I'm so sorry. This man has the constitution of a wet paper towel.
I don't have anything to help him.
Yeah, this is something I'm leaving down to you guys as characters to resolve, because as a DM, there's nothing I can do to fix this. This comes down to what your character interactions.
Are you a doctor?
No.
Okay, and Tammy will run off to the front desk again. And she's writing a note. This is so good. And she's just writing a note and says, we need medical attention in the history section. One of the people in the library has fainted. Dot, and she'll slide it over the desk.
It's funny because Luka is a doctor.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't believe this.
Yeah, the librarian will happily read your message again. The librarian doesn't seem to hold any grudges or anything. It's already very much the actions in the moment. But yeah, we'll read your note and then point towards the technology section and specifically writes, one of the hands has kind of written at the bottom of your note 610. So yeah, if you head down technology and if you head to the 610 section, that's medicine and health.
Oh my fucking God.
Also, I will note that when Luka fell over, his hat fell off, and if you'd like, you could try and see what his eyes look like.
Not quite now. Is it defibrillator?
I don't think he is a defibrillator to woke up someone who's fainted, please. That's more likely to set them into cardiac arrest.
This is the point where I'm very glad this is a library and there are only books. However, I will say, as a kind of toony thing, this library isn't very toony, but you still get to run on toon logic. So you could probably open up a book and then pull something out of it.
Absolutely not. I mean, maybe, God, because this is a place where people could have accidents, and there should be a med kit or something in the area. And you're gonna tell me to read now?
It's a library. Read a book.
You asked for medical advice.
Okay, fine. She'll do an investigation check and look in the medicine section to see if there's any books about helping a fainting or such. My investigation is 1, right? Yeah.
I apologize for the fact that Luka has the constitution of a wet paper towel.
Okay, that's a 12. Alright, good news is I'm gonna have, because you have been pointed specifically to the right section, I'm gonna say that is high enough that you do manage to find some books that might be helpful. You find one that's just about first aid. So it will have what to do if someone has collapsed. It will teach you the basics of CPR sort of thing.
Okay, take 1, 2, 3, 4 books, and she'll run over to where Luka and Dixy are. And I guess she'll try and do CPR on Luka.
Oh God!
I'm gonna get the book off of Luka first.
He's not having a heart attack. You don't understand.
Can I just say, Dixy, thank you for having the brain cell in this point of time and just stopping the book from crushing Luka's chest.
Yeah. I'm gonna take it off and I'm gonna prop Luka up so he's not lying on the cold hard ground.
Yay! I will note he's breathing. He has a pulse. He's not dying.
She doesn't know. She's 19 and an idiot.
Oh God, baby.
If you start doing CPR, I'm going to just grab your arm and say no.
Please.
CPR.
Well, Brad, he's he's supposed to be singing "Staying Alive" right now.
He's not dead.
If you want, you can take a breath to calm the fuck down, and then make a medicine check with advantage because you have books there to help you. May I advise, Dixy, may you please do the medicine check because I suspect that Tammy is still freaking out.
Yeah, she's still leaping through the book and not concentrating at all. This is her thing.
Yes.
Wait,
with advantage?
With advantage, thankfully.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, that's a 13.
Okay, it's a 13. That's fine.
That is in my books. The 13 is going to be a mixed success. So, Whirl, considering you are the person that knows what the fuck is going on here, what would you count a mixed success to be?
Okay, with a mixed success, given that this is not something that's induced by actual physical damage, Luka's passing out is something a bit more oh God, see, I'm basing it on the times when I've passed out, which have been when I stayed up for 6 days straight.
Well, why? Please, do I need to self-care minty you?
No, this was when I was 13 and living with my mom and didn't realize I was allergic to coffee. It's fine.
Okay, that's fair.
So it's not that he's it's not that he's, hurt or anything, and he's definitely not dying, and he hasn't got a concussion, you can tell that much. It seems like he just fell asleep for a minute and then fell on the floor, and he's already kind of starting to come around. You might just need to, like, snap your fingers under his nose to wake him up.
Okay. So it doesn't seem like anything bad, it's just that he fainted.
Yeah.
Nice.
There is something more that I would have given you if you had rolled higher, but I will give you another chance.
Does it seem magical?
Roll Arcana.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna leave that up to Kai.
Okay, yeah, no. A 10 is kind of like, they get a smidgen of information, but nothing necessarily usable.
Okay.
I will say, you don't know if it's magic or not, but those dark lines on his face, they've gotten further down and they've gotten darker. And also there are some that are starting to creep up his neck. And it looks like the kind of thing that might be magical, but with a 10, you have no idea.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna just snap my fingers just to wake him up. Or try to, at least.
Is that gonna alert the librarian?
Well,
it's not a loud noise. So actually, you know what? I'm just gonna quickly,
no.
D8 20 plus... no, you're good.
Okay.
Nice.
So, yeah, you snap your fingers under his nose, and he kind of startles awake, and like I mentioned, he has his hat off, so the shadow that covers his eyes is gone, so you can see all three of his eyes just sort of snap open, and he looks startled for a minute, and his eyes are gray for a minute, and then they're a little bit, like, black, and then they, like, sort of fade back into a sort of rainbow hue, and he's like,
Are you okay?
You're alive!
You...
Tammy, I'm sorry. 1 sec, that was Tammy yelling.
Oh no!
That's a nat 20 from the librarian, who definitely heard. And once again, you get this wonderful moment of the librarian kind of just materializing out of nowhere, arms
God, can I
already...
do something right now?
I'm so scared for just...
What are you doing?
combat.
Can I just cast Shatter on this librarian and say no?
No, please don't do that, please.
Make an attack.
Don't do it.
Yeah, make a
No
fucking
way.
attack roll.
I am...
Oh, Lord.
You know what? Dixie's just gonna take Lucas and move. He's moving, he has nothing to do with this. He's gone.
Thank you for having the brain cell.
God, you said attack roll?
It's my turn.
I would note.
So.
I would note that would have probably made Luka pass out again. But getting him out of there is a good idea.
Yeah,
this is an attack roll. Technically, the librarian must make a Constitution save, but this is just an attack roll.
Make it basically, but you'd actually do like a spell casting roll, so it'd be like a D20 plus your spell casting bonus. That's a dirty 20, which means yep, this is gonna hit. This librarian does not have good constitution.
Remember when you said you didn't want combat? Well,
yeah. I was like thinking about that. Well, Tammy's about to snap, so
yeah. Okay. So what I'm gonna do here is like this is gonna be, on one hand, you are specifically breaking not one but two rules here, especially considering how fucking loud chatter gets. So the librarian is actually gonna get a little bit of a bonus, but also the librarian instinctively has like bad constitution. That's a 9. Okay, yeah, hits. This hits. Roll damage.
Are you going to break the librarian? You're going to break the librarian.
Oh God. Please, we just wanted to help fix the books.
Tammy, why?
I'm getting out of here.
Tammy has no brain cells and she is angry.
16 damage. Okay, ouch. Yeah, and the other thing, that's not just actually 16 damage. That's 32 damage because this is because the librarian is mechanical. It's made out of like metal.
Oh.
Okay.
Good thing we have an artificer. I could repair it.
Okay, so good news is, well, good in some ways, bad in others, the librarian does not fall to pieces. bad news is about 3 of her arms fall off.
Oh no.
And she is now bloodied. Of course, now, no fighting is all the rules, and the librarian can do a lot of bullshit, and, like, all 3 of you are magic users, right?
Somewhat. Somewhat.
Okay, so all of you can feel it as the librarian, like, raises what arms she's got left and then slams them down towards the ground, and there's a lot of boom echoing throughout, like, all the wooden floors and through the shelves, and you guys can all feel it as all magic available to people in the area has just been completely cut off. It feels like, for those of you that use magic on a regular basis, it kind of feels like you are now missing a limb, considering that Dixy is like an artificer, and that's kind of a little bit of a odd sort of magic. You're not missing a limb, but you certainly kind of got a feeling of a bit of like a hole in your chest where the magic should sit.
No, I hate this.
Oh god. Hey Kai.
Yeah?
What would that do to someone who relies on their magic to stay functional?
I'm really fucking sorry. I am so sorry. I didn't think it would be coming to this well. But Luka's fucked.
Wait, huh?
Oh,
Wait, no. Okay.
Actually,
do any of them?
can I say a thing?
Yep, go ahead.
So, when the magic turns off, Dixy, you were getting Luka moved away from where you guys were. Very nice of you. When the magic turns off, something goes very, very wrong, and I wasn't expecting to have to deal with this anytime soon, so I don't actually have his stats up.
I thought this was going to just be a fun, silly game of wandering around the library and trying to
That's
keep
what
quiet.
you thought.
What the fuck?
I would like to note that the minute the magic turned off, all of the color drained not just from Luka's like hair and eyes, but also from his clothes, and his hair turned pitch black. And you know that sort of thing in cartoons where like somebody's eyes will just turn into alternating rings of different colors?
Yes.
His eyes turn to that in shades of black and gray. And black tears start dripping down his face. And he stands up.
Well, I do just have to quickly question, how much of this was inspired by negative RGB from Property Hate?
None of it, actually.
Fair enough.
I am just now noticing this, but no, this was not inspired by negative RGB. Luka is not based on RGB in any way. He is based on Willy Wonka.
No, entirely fair. I just kind of like to say that was the only thing in my head as you were doing this whole description. Anyway, Dixy, you were saying something?
Nope.
No copyright infringement intended, but can I finish the thing I was saying real fast?
Go ahead.
So he stands up, almost as though whatever was bothering him is not anymore. And he twirls his cane in his hand and taps it against the ground. And it shoots up. And the sort of sphere on the end of it turns into a point. And it's a spear. And he's going to walk over to this librarian and try to attack her.
Ah, for fuck's sake. I was trying...
Go stupid!
Yeah, make a fucking attack roll. I'm gonna say, I don't want to fall into, like, full-on initiative with this. Let's just kind of, people will go when it feels appropriate for them to do a thing. So, Luka, make your attack roll.
Okay. Spear, that is a 1d20 plus 6.
Oh dear.
24.
Yeah, that hits.
And because this thing, Sugar Crash mode, it's a... it actually... the damage gets rolled twice because basically he hits twice, if that's okay.
In that case, normally you'd have to make 2 separate attack rolls, like one for each hit.
Oh, okay. I can do that.
Yeah.
So this is the first D8 plus 3. That's
7
7.
damage. Okay.
1d20 plus 6. That's a 26.
That's
Oh,
nice.
nice!
So
You rolled double damage.
Double damage!
Oh.
I'm gonna have to fix this librarian after this is all over.
God.
That's 12. So he has done 18 damage to this thing. Wait,
Oh,
no.
No, you
12
get to roll.
plus 7.
1 sec. No, you get to roll another d8 as well because that was a crit hit. So double damage.
Dice.
Oh, okay.
Okay, 17 damage total, and that makes it like, Okay, this librarian is not looking in good repair. Do you want to say, considering this is a spear, were you aiming for anywhere in particular? The torso, slicing off more arms? What do you feel like?
See, Sugar Crash mode, sort of the mechanics of it is, it goes after whatever has hurt Luka the most recently, and then Luka will start to go after himself. We don't want that to happen, so I'm gonna, hold off on that for the minute, but he's going to be trying to stab through this thing and rip it apart.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna say you managed to shove your, the spear right through the fucking center. It's jab to the side, and then one jab to the side kind of grazes across and tears, some of the metal plating over the top. And then now you have that opening. You go right through the center of the librarian's chest, and you can hear the crunching and grinding of gears as they're slamming into each other. And when you retract your spear, you do actually have various cogs spilling out from this wonderful wound. The librarian's movements have now become very shaken and jittery. It still has about 7 arms left, so it's still up. But it's definitely not looking very good. I just gotta ask Dixy, how are you doing? Do you want to kind of edge in or do anything here?
So, I can't use magic, right?
Yep.
Okay. Would I be able to... I know I haven't planned at all with this, but... Or making sleep darts a thing that I would be able to do.
Yeah, because they're not necessarily a magical thing. They're just if you've already got the various potions and poisons on you, then yeah, you can just make those.
I feel like you would, if that's...
Yeah,
okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, they're probably in the hammer space though, so let's see. That's a 1.
That's a fumble.
Oh,
roll
boy.
a d20.
Let's roll a d20. I have a custom hammer space thing for this. 16, let's see what I get. So, Dixie, as he reaches into his cloak pocket, you see him pull out something, and immediately it slams to the ground as it's a cannonball that he has just pulled out of his hammer space.
Throw it at the librarian!
I mean, you can if you want. Throw it like a shot put.
I don't want to throw it at the librarian, but I'm gonna just kind of kick it and roll it.
Yep.
No, don't do that! That's what they tell you not to do!
Well, fine, I'll keep it under my foot and...
I'll let you make 2 more rolls before I'll move on to someone else.
Thank you. Please? Okay. Not a fumble.
Not a fumble. Well done. You got what you wanted.
I'm gonna take out the various things I need, and I'm gonna go try and make a sleep dart.
Who are you planning on using this on? The librarian? It's a machine.
No. Luka.
Yeah.
Oh boy. That's not going to end well, but okay.
Don't worry about it.
It's fine. It's fine.
Look, my wisdom's an 8. No, it's a 6, actually. It's a 6. I'm not very insight. Would I have to roll to make that, though?
You roll d20 plus artificer's tool bonus, proficiency bonus.
Okay. Oh, 17.
Yep, that is a success. You've made let's call it 3 sleep darts.
Okay, 3. Gotta load them in.
I will actually, you can load them. However, between that fumble and then making it, I am actually going to switch over to someone else. Because again, staying out of strict initiative. Technically, I would say it's probably Tammy's go again here. Liz, did you have anything in mind?
Yes. So first things first. She done the shit up purely instinctually, but seeing Luka go ham and this librarian, it's time for murder. So
I'm gonna have to shoot both of you.
Yeah. First action, Tammy is gonna use what's it called? Stone's durability. So this looks like Tammy going from the CGI, going from this worn 2D character into a Sigian sort of looking thing. If you've seen Hercules, if you imagine the Hydra battle, the way the Hydra was animated, it's like that. Like it looks like the style of the 2D, but you can tell it's 3D just to help out the
That's so cool.
the animators. And she just looks like that in this battle mode. So her AC is up, and her bonus action is to cast.
Wait, is the magic?
I'm sorry.
You can't cast.
Yeah, wait.
But
I'm just 1 second. Was any of this technically magic?
I don't. Is it bloodline? Because it might be that. It might be magic.
Because like you guys have now had like the ability to use magic stripped away from you. I'm really sorry. I love this, but I did say that.
Yeah. It might be a magical thing because it's part of her bloodline, and her bloodline's magical.
If it's bloodline, wouldn't that mean it's genetic and
Yeah,
therefore
if it's
like a factor of your biology?
Yeah, if it's kind of like a genetic biology thing, then it can happen. But in terms of actively like casting spells, then nope, doesn't work.
Okay, so the stone's durability works, but she can't do the second thing, which is cast shadow blades. So instead, she grabs one of the severed arms from the librarians.
Guys!
And points it towards the librarian, ready to attack when she gets the time.
Oh god. Okay.
Guys!
Yeah.
Oh god.
I think.
don't.
Sorry. I'm gonna take. Actually, no. You continue. What were you gonna say?
I was going to ask if it was my turn next, because if it is, I don't think she's going to get a chance to use that arm.
Yeah, because well, technically,
I'm pretty sure.
Technically, I would say it's actually the librarians go next because like I mean, again, we're not doing strict initiative, but also like the librarian hasn't had a go since turning off the magic.
Yeah.
So I think you guys get this like one moment where it's like the librarian jittering, shaking as like raising up arms ready to strike at Luka, because Luka, you are the one you're the one that has begun this fight, but it's gonna get to you, Tammy, as well. You are definitely next on the list, but Luka, you are the biggest problem. And then you guys have this wonderful moment where you just hear ding ding ding, and the librarian freezes, like absolutely freezes. I do have a quick question. Has everyone here listened to the announcement before, or do I need to play it?
I have not.
What announcement?
Okay, playing it is. Yeah, you hear the ding ding ding, librarian freezes, and then this announcement plays.
Attention, attention all passengers. This is a railway service announcement. First of all, welcome aboard the Neverending train. For those who are new, yes, you heard that correctly. This is a train. It is a very large train with very unusual carriages, but it is a train nonetheless. To the rest of you who are already familiar with this, you may have noticed some technical difficulties, deficiencies, and all-around pickups, including, but not limited to, risk to life and limb, stress and strain to mental health, and a sort of lack of abidance to railway standards. Owing to these failings, my friends and I, fellow passengers all, have taken the initiative and made our way to the engine. This was made possible by the emergency exits available for use in the centre of the ceiling of each carriage. I repeat, there is an escape hatch in the centre of each carriage's ceiling. It might be disguised under an illusion of some nice fluffy clouds, but trust me, it's there if you look. They can be a bit of a bugger to shift, but keep at it, I'm sure you'll manage. If any of you do attempt this, be careful not to fall in the process. It's a long way down, and I know this from personal experience. And also, once outside, it is possible you might encounter a giant multi-legged robot with laser vision and knives for hands, so keep an eye out for that. In the meanwhile, my esteemed colleagues and I will be attempting to rectify, or at least put a stop to, this train's more harmful shortcomings. Namely, that individual who is called Father. He is called Father. He appears not to be a passenger. I am unclear as to whether he created this train or merely the poor soul he abandoned and left in charge of it, who is actually a really nice laddie person, automaton, called Alex. If you meet them, be nice. It's not their fault. Really, it's not their fault. We are going to try to fix the train. If you come across the father figure, beat the peck out of him. It's basically their fault. You are, of course, welcome to continue your little pre-arranged adventure on the train. Apparently, we all have a nice tailor-made individual one that if we solve, we're allowed to get off the train. But the last person to do that was 14 years ago, so, just keep that in mind. You could be stuck on here indefinitely. And hey, what's a little rebellion without a few friends, huh? Some of ye may have met me already by another name, but for now ye may simply call me Oscar. I'm short, orange, have a mouth like a tin can opener, and I'm apparently a lot more qualified for the running of locomotives than the poor soul they've lumped with the task here. As for the picnic, who's responsible for all this, if you're listening, which I'm sure you are, in brief, I'm coming for you. And there is no machine, no monster, no demon, nor god in this world that will stop me. Thank you all for your time and attention, and remember, if you do make your way to the outside of this train, please mind the gap.
Bong, bong, bong. And the announcement stops. And while the librarian was frozen during that time, your characters weren't necessarily. Can I ask how they're doing?
Is the magic work?
No, magic is still sadly turned off.
Can I note a thing?
Yes?
I don't know if this would work, but I guess this is more of a cinematic flavor thing than it is an actual thing. Because I don't think the other two would see this, but for Luka, even through the haze of despair that is being on a sugar crash, the announcement comes on, and hearing another person's voice, especially because if you've seen my drawings of the engineer's or of Oscar's voice, which I will share in the chat if you haven't seen them.
They're gorgeous. I love them.
Luka sees voices in the same way that I do, except he sees them a lot more physically. So to him, if this were like in an actual show, it would look like from wherever this announcement is coming from, swirls of orange and cyan and yellow just sort of filter down and wrap around him, and that actually calms him down a bit, and he doesn't the colors don't come back to him, but his eyes do go back to somewhat normal. It's just that the irises are white, and he's going to try and end this as quickly as possible rather than as painfully as possible, and he's just going to try and cut this thing's head off.
Alright, yeah. Again, make an attack roll. I will say you've got advantage as the librarian does start up again once the thing's over. However, it's rather slow and janky, still kind of building up speed to get back into working order.
Okay, we are glad for this advantage.
Yep, because that was crit fail. That 18, that hits.
Okay. Do I have to roll damage, or can I just cut the damn thing's head off?
You know what? For the sake of story, yes. It's a clean slice, and the librarian's head goes rolling down the row of shelves.
Yeah. When that's done with, and the sugar crash mode sort of fades. Luckily, something was able to break him partially out of it, so I don't have to do anything that could warrant a content warning.
Thank fuck for that.
But he kind of looks at the other two, and he just starts shaking, and he's leaning on the spear really hard. And you can see sort of the pink and orange bubbles and lines coming up from his mouth, but they're shaky and kind of broken looking and falling apart. And he just says, I'm so sorry. And then he falls over. He has passed out again.
Is Tammy currently still angered and going to beat up the librarian?
She does the thing where she drops it, but she was mid-swing of going to hit it, so she like still flings it at the corpse of the librarian with a clang.
I will say, yeah, wonderful. I will say, now that the librarian is dead, you guys can feel that magic kind of slowly seeping back into your awareness. It's not like suddenly all there, but it's coming back.
Luka's hair goes back to pale shades of gray rather than pitch black once the magic comes back. But there is no color.
I think Tammy walks over to Luka and looks up at Dixy and says, so he didn't do that on purpose.
What in the heck was that?
Shrug.
Dude. Okay. So do we take the exit?
Yeah, yes, yeah, and Tammy will do the snapping thing to see if Luka will wake up again.
This time it doesn't work.
Oh no.
You know what? I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds on Luka, just because.
Worth a shot.
It could help. What do I roll again?
You know what, actually, because magic is still slowly filtering back in, make me a spellcasting roll. So yeah, d20 plus your spellcasting bonus.
Okay.
Basically, if you get above a 10, it works.
Nice.
It works.
Okay.
You cast Cure Wounds, but there's really nothing to cure. He's not wounded.
It was more of a stabilization thing, I was thinking.
Yeah, that definitely works. Like, his breathing evens out a good bit, and he's just kind of sitting against the bookshelf. His spear is turned back into the cane, but he is solidly passed out.
Okay. Good.
I am so sorry.
No, this is perfect.
I am so sorry for adding drama to what was probably supposed to be a rather nice game.
You didn't even get to, like, the third book problem. You didn't even manage to get, the second book back to where it belonged.
They were fighting.
Is there an option for Luka to stay in this car? Because he's going to want to stay in this car and get everything fixed.
I mean, if you want...
Luka, baby.
Yeah, if you want, you do not have to actually exit. I will say, like, while the announcement played and it said, like, hey, there's the thing, you don't have to. You guys can continue on your train adventure. You guys can split up and half of you can leave and half of you can stay. It's entirely up to you.
Okay.
I mean, I think what Luka would do once he wakes up, because I'm sorry, he is solidly passed out and will be for a while. But once he wakes up, like, he would definitely, like, sort out the problems he had been given to solve, and then try and do what the announcement had said, because, oh boy, this place got him to sugar crash mode. That is not good.
Yeah.
Well, this place kind of sucked. Is kind of the attitude Tammy is carrying. Like, the whole thing, everything she's been doing is just to get out. Like, there are many ways to solve a carriage, and, fighting is one of them. But she is also very adamant to climb because she is feral and she wants to get out this train. That is not through a magical door.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Dixie's going to grab the book and just, walk quite a bit fast to just get it back in its position, since he probably put it down somewhere during combat, but he's going to put it back in its proper place. Just so that's over with.
Yeah, it again does that little snuggling into its spot as you place it on the shelves. So,
Aww.
Congrats, you managed to at least get that done.
Congratulations, I guess.
Yep. I can't decide what you guys do next, and I know that Luka is going to be passed out for the next however long. I think this comes down to you guys, Dixy and Tammy. What do you feel like doing here?
So, what was your name again?
I'm so glad we came to this. We didn't ask each other's names. My Tammy, and she is shifting from 3D to 2D now.
I'm Dixie. So, what do? We could finish this puzzle thing or leave. But that fellow there, and he points to Luka, seems to be out.
Yeah, I don't want to leave him here. But I've been on this weaving journey for too long, and a guy whose voice I met that person. And she's pointing up to where the sound was coming. I met that dude, and I've been meeting people a lot. And I've just been losing them all the time. So I want to get out in a way that doesn't get me even more lost. I'm heading up.
Wait, one moment. This might just be because I have legitimately forgotten. Tammy, when did you meet Angie?
Because Avi said this, so I'm saying this. The hot chocolate carriage.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough.
Yes.
That counts.
Yes.
Yep. For other listeners, it's basically it's a typed RP channel sort of thing that we have. But yeah, go ahead. That's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I am going to get my hammer. I can wait for this guy to wake up. I can wait for Luka. I can wait for Luka to get up, but I honestly just want to go up.
Yes, we could wait for him, because I don't really want to go up there with the father. Was that it? I don't want to go up with him out there alone. So I guess I'll stay with you two for now. Can I scavenge some of the parts of the librarian?
Yeah, you know what? Yes, go ahead.
Yes!
Loot.
It is very...
Because I can make stuff out of that!
Yeah, you will note that these are, pretty decent quality clockwork parts of varying kinds. They seem to be made out of a material you don't 100% recognize. There probably seems to be some sort of magic going into this. But yeah, these are pretty decent quality parts that you should be able to reuse somehow.
Oh yeah, baby! Let's go. Shove all of that in my hammer space.
Okay. Now I'm going to ask something from all of you guys here. Because yeah, the plan so far is to wait until Luka wakes up, and then head up and out and following along with that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Dixie?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the plan.
Yep. And Luka?
Yeah, I would say that he's probably going to... I mean, he can't exactly go anywhere when he's not awake, but...
No, but once you wake up, because I think this is kind of a good leaving off point, and I think I can say that, yeah, once Luka wakes up, you can climb up the shelves and more or less easily get to the ceiling, and you can pry that open, and you guys can walk out if you want, and if you want, we can fast forward to that, and I can do a little wrap-up leaving thing.
I would say that, can I just say something real fast for when Luka does wake up?
Go ahead.
First things first, he apologizes profusely, because, oh god, that wasn't supposed to happen. Then he's going to actually... Is there a children's section in this library?
There probably would be down the fiction aisle. There would be like, a small section there.
Okay, he would end up like wandering down the fiction aisle real fast, looking for a kid's book, because kids' books tend to have fond, nostalgic memories attached to them, and therefore are very good receptacles for stored joy. And he's going to use a bit of magic that was given to him by his patron to try and take some of that out and bottle it. It's not as good as his usual medicine, but it should be enough to at least get him back on his feet.
Yeah, I will happily let this happen. You managed to find... There's not heaps and heaps of children's books, but there are a handful there, and you can see a couple of them that seem to be rather well worn, like someone has flipped through them again and again and again. So you do manage to find enough joy there to keep yourself stable. And yeah, I will say, got a message from Lizz. Yeah, while you guys are waiting for Luka to wake up, and you've got Dixy scavenging materials from the librarian, and Tammy can indeed go and raid behind the librarian's desk and find your hammer if you want.
No repercussions.
Yeah.
I fought a librarian and I got my hammer back. We did it.
We did it, guys.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, were there any last bits any of you wanted to do or say before you head up and out?
Dixie's deathly afraid of heights, so I don't know how the climbing bookshelves work. That,
if you want, you could probably have Tammy do the climbing and then just lower you a rope.
Yeah, probably.
The good news is...
I would offer to have Luka carry him, because Luka actually has good strength.
That works.
Sure, that works.
But yeah, you guys, again, I don't want to get caught up in like another half hour of rolling dice to get all the specifics, because I think this is a good point to leave it off, as you've got our wonderful feral little Tammy climbing up and using the borrowed crowbar from earlier, prying open the ceiling of the library.
My crowbar!
Yeah. Prying open the ceiling, clambering through, lowering a rope to let the other two up. And up and out you go. You successfully open the hatch behind the ceiling, because like there's mechanical workings behind what you thought was the ceiling, and then another ceiling above that, and the hatch is in there. And yeah, you open it up and you guys find yourself on the top of a train in the middle of this vast void, and you only get about 0.3 seconds to kind of go, holy fuck, where am I? Before like this bouncy blue man, who seems to be like some sort of Frankenaley. He's got rather long and strangly hair. But yeah, he kind of bounces along and is like, oh, hello, more passengers. Yes, come on. We're doing a thing. There's like there. Like, oh, it's so good to have more. And as you guys look down one length of the train, you see this man just kind of like, Miss Tatters, yes, we've got some more. And you guys are shepherded into this massive group of dozens and dozens of passengers as they are making their way along the train, headed for some destination that isn't anywhere you guys have seen before, but it is out of this train system. And the passengers are loose, and you guys are on your way. That's
there are passengers loose on the top of the train.
On our way to where? We don't know.
No, that's okay.
Nobody knows what the passengers are going to do next, least of all the passengers.
Least of all me, frankly. But yeah, I think that is a wonderful way to end things. And I will fill you guys in on more plot and story stuff as you go along, because the story will be being passed down for everyone. But that's a time for me to wrangle together every single one of the passengers that I currently have on this fucking train.
Oh, that's a lot of passengers.
Yeah, there's like 30-something of them.
30 people in a call. Hey, so this is what's happening.
Yeah, so that is something for me to organize at a future date. And for now, that is the end of this game. Thank you guys for playing. That was so good. That did not go the direction I was planning, but that was so good.
I'm so sorry for everything I threw in.
No, it's so
Chaos.
good.
Chaos.
Wowie!
That was fantastic.
That was fun.
I love Tammy. I love Luka. Well, I love all the chaos stuff. And Chili, how considering this is like your first game on the server, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
How are you feeling about it? Are you happy? What?
I think it was fun to finally play a character I've been anticipating
I'm
for
so
a while.
I gotta say,
You did amazing,
you
Chili.
did so good.
Is it so good?
Liz, you did great too. You were amazing. I love you
Yes.
both.
Yes.
And Kai, you were an awesome DM. We appreciate you.
Thank you. No,
Frantic applauding.
I'm so glad you all had fun. I cannot promise that you guys will be in another Neverending Train game because I will admit we are getting to the point of pretty close to wrapping things up.
So we're finally gonna be freed of this train!
Yeah, pretty much.
Finally!
Yeah, almost there. Not yet. You guys, I will say all your characters will likely have a reappearance at some point in the future. You guys will not necessarily be the ones playing them. But again, that is something for me to sort later down the line. For now, can I get goodbyes from everyone before I stop the recording?
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.